Sam Eichenlaub, what is the deadline for the NFL to select the training camp in-season Hard Knocks teams? Will the NFL just flex and force the Jets to do one as rumored? And it's more than rumored. You've got the CEO of the Green Bay Packers speaking of it as if it's a done deal. The Jets, as we reported 2 weeks ago, were bracing for the assignment. They still haven't told us who it's going to be, and we're less than a month from the debut. Friday the 20th, Thursday the 20th. That's the day that the owners are meeting to vote on the sale of the Commanders to Josh Harris. There's a thought that the Commanders will get the assignment for preseason Hard Knocks right after that's done. As we get closer and closer to the 20th, there's a belief that the league is waiting for, I haven't written this yet at PFT, and I'm sitting here thinking, why the hell haven't I written this yet? Someone told me this last week. There's a thought that they're waiting until the 20th. Ownership change is finalized, and boom, then the Commanders get the preseason Hard Knocks assignment. And if they don't get the preseason Hard Knocks assignment, there's a chance they'll get the in-season Hard Knocks. They don't have that same formula for exempting teams for the in-season Hard Knocks. They've only done it twice now with the Colts and the Cardinals. But that may be what happens. Because it is odd that they haven't told us who it is. And it looks like at this point, maybe they are waiting for the Commanders. Because if it's going to be the Jets, just go ahead and say it's the Jets. Why would you wait? Now, look, it may have been they didn't want to announce it last week because last week was a weird holiday week and people were on vacation. Maybe this is the week they announce it. Maybe they announce it today or tomorrow that it's the Jets. This is the week to make a bigger impact with news. Last week it would have gotten lost. So we'll see. We'll see. So that's where we are. And look, I would say the deadline would be when it's time to show up to camp and start filming because you've got a show you've got to produce a week or two later. All right. Sean Alvashar, what would have been the punishment for the gambling violations if the name wasn't Isaiah Rodgers, but was, say, Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow? We've talked about this in the past. What would they do if a star player, a franchise quarterback, violated the gambling policy? Would we even know that it ever happened? That would be a hell of a potential scandal for the NFL because you've got the sports books ratting out and they are. I'm sorry that it's not a very indelicate phrase, but that's what they do. They may be required to do it, but they are snitching on these players by providing the information to the NFL as to who has and hasn't violated the gambling policy. Would there be a way to keep that under the rug? And the sports books may want to do that because they want to have great players playing. We all want to have great players playing. So there is a certain degree of skepticism that the league would not throw the book at a great player. They'd find a way to brush it under the rug. I think that's harder to do because this is all very black and white and it's clear cut. When somebody violates the gambling policy, they violated it. There's no interpretation to be done. There's no discretion to be exercised. They either did or they didn't. You either bet on the NFL or you didn't. You either bet on other sports while you were at work or you didn't. It's that simple. All right. This is good. JC Carm, with the state of running backs changing, does the criteria for the Hall of Fame change as well? Are there any current running backs that you believe are for sure Hall of Famers? I think Derrick Henry is. Somebody asked me this recently on a radio spot that I did. The question of the game changing to the point where the running game is minimized, does that mean no running backs get in? I think it all comes down to the collective thoughts of the voters. I'm not one. I never will be. I don't aspire to be. They won't invite me to be. It's never happening. But will the voters still want to put running backs in? Back in the days when the game was so heavily premised on the run, they still put quarterbacks and receivers in. The reality, though, is you've got career numbers now that may not be as good as some of the career numbers we've seen in the past. What do you do about that? How do you compare apples to apples? But if they're determined to put running backs in from a given era, the best running backs of that era are going to get in. It all comes down to what the voters decide to do.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.